Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you on our Smogon Premier League 17 matchup. This is a Week 2 showdown between Void of the Wi-Fi Wolfpack and the host of the No Chill podcast, Gilbert Arenas. Nah, I'm just kidding everybody, it is Marcop playing for the Cryonicles. That said though, this is a highlight matchup, to say the least, between Void, who is who's been one of the best DPP players for the past 2-ish years, 2.5 years, give or take. Whereas Marcop, he's coming off of a very strong revival invitational run. Whenever all those videos are caught up on the revival channel, sorry guys. Anyways, that's it though. Both players are 0-1 going into this matchup, so somebody's gonna have to walk away here 0-2, which is quite a shock to say the least, given these two players were ranked number 1 and 2 atop the power rankings. But if there was anybody I predicted before the season that was going to take a game off Void, it's probably Marcop. Anyways, that said though, let's jump right into this. D-Knight lead, meta lead. This is an interesting matchup, one that's firmly in Void's favor, however that said. But because of the sleep ban, there's a couple of things to note here. Is that one, Metagross actually does not have to run Lumberry on lead anymore, so this means that Marcop, he could be running something like Akka or like Shuka, for example. So if Void decides to Fire Blast turn 1, he might have to be careful of getting exploded on in the process, or giving up rocks, something like that. But let's just keep an eye out for that. Oh no, it's Scarf Explosion. So that's quite the choice. And meta into a Flygon, and Flygon's just got to pivot out into the Gyarados. Go into a Tyranitar. Okay, this is an interesting choice from Marco, because you turning onto Gyarados and going into Tyranitar. This tells me a couple things. For one, Marcop, he might be running Pashol T-Tar with Stone Edge, or he could be running something like Pashol T-Tar or like Scarf Tar. So it's one of those two things, and I think Void is gonna have to be weary of that, like seeing how Marcop decide to U-turn to Flygon. However, Void's bringing out some offense. Both players bring offenses, so not something on their usual menu per se. As for the last on Void's team, going into 2 turns, I would say Latias could be expected. Either that or a Rotom, like a Scarf Rotom, something like a second Steel, such as a Heatran, could be plausible here. Just a couple things to keep in mind. Whereas on Marcop's end, I could expect a Scarf Mag. I could also expect a Healing Wisher, a second Steel, such as a Scizor, for example, or a Jirachi. But there's a lot we could see here. But let's keep going. This looks to be a fast-paced game. Got double into meta. Instead, Marcup's got to take advantage of this. Gonna get rocks up, and Fire Blast crit. So huge critical hit there. This might be okay. So there's no telling just how fast that Tyranitar is, because maybe Marcop could be running something funky, something like, say, a plus speed T-Tar, or he could just be running like a little bit, like 12 speed EDVs, and then like just to get the jump on something like 0 speed meta, because meta on these type of Dragonite Gyarados offenses are usually like 0 speed, and it's more focused on just taking blows from something like Specs, Draco Meteors. So there's that. But Marcop off to a fantastic lead right now. And yep, it was Pashol. And gotta get crunched down here, and the Gyara's gonna die to rocks, so Marcop more than happy to take that trade. And he's got to show his own D-Knight, and I think that's a Jolly D-Knight. Question is this, oh, and there's a Scissor, so, oh, okay, this is really interesting. This Scissor most likely not pursued, but what I would expect, though, is it to be bulky SD with probably, like, Bug Bite. This could also run something like Superpower, for example. And then this D-Knight, I mean, it could just be Jolly DD Lum D-Knight, because normally the Gira being outsped there tells me that this certainly has to be Jolly. I highly doubt Void's Gyarados is plus speed, because if it was, it would have outsped. And, you know, D-Knight, Jolly D-Knight is nice for a couple reasons. One, if it is a Dragon Dance D-Knight, which I suspect it should be, it's actually really nice for getting to jump on something like teams that rely on a Scarf Heatran or Scarf Magneton for speed control, which is something we've seen a lot in DPP in recent times. So, you know, D-Knight serving as a way to punish that is a very good, team builder choice from Marcop and PDC respectively. Anyways, got Hydro Pump here. And, oh, just got SD up here. So, interesting decision there. And just gotta let the Scizor go. But Marcop does have the Flygon to back it up. So, he's just got a U-turn here. And just gonna get the Starmie out of picture. And Lucario is the last here. And T-Dar's just got a T-Wave here. And, oh, it's Aura Sphere. And no Life Orb chip whatsoever. Okay, so this actually tells us a few things. Lucario being, CM Lucario, Combine Lucario, from what I can tell, is actually a really nice touch on this team, on this physical offense team that, Marcop's bringing because of a couple reasons. One, because when you look at this team and you see, 4.5 physical attackers, because of the Mixtar, what tends to happen is that Will-O-Wisp tends to be a really big problem. Even though you say you might have something like a Lumberry D-Knight, something like Lucario just gives you a little bit more insurance, where you're like, okay, hey, look, I don't mind taking a burn. I mean, yeah, it's still got a stink, but I could, punish defensive Rotom with something like Dark Pulse, which on this team, Marcop almost certainly wants to have. And then CM gives you a way to kind of take advantage of something like, Draco Meteor drops. But from the looks of it here, Lucario should wrap. Lucario's not going to come back from this. And, oh, okay. And yeah, that is a Adamant Lucario and a Sash. And he's just got E-Speed here. Fire Punch is here. And Marcop is going to win this game. And he's going to go to 1-1. And Void's going to go 0-2. This is interesting because I think I've actually seen a similar style of team that Void has ran, especially with the focus Sash Lucario on ladder, funnily enough. Yeah, I wonder if Void is the same guy. Those who know will know who I'm referring to. If you've played DPP ladder enough, because there's this guy, he would always run I think it's he would always run CBD Knight, and then he'd have Starmie as well, and then he'd also have Sash Lucario. I don't know, maybe Void got some ideas from running into said guy on ladder and then just made his own touches to it. Who knows, but really rough stuff there. Like the T-Tar Kring, the meta kind of sucked, but I think Marcop was still pretty favored. And again, pretty cool to see CM Lucario, and seeing two Lucarios in a game nonetheless. John somewhere is probably smiling, but that said though, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.